Have you ever looked at a funeral and thought, gee, that's a good place to protest a military war in this country? Well, according to the Westboro Church, they believe that military funerals are exactly the place to protest the war in this country. Honestly, I think there should be a some semblance of decorum and respect shown that military service members, as they come home from war, their families should not have to suffer the indignities of people protesting just because they don't agree with the war. You have signs at their funerals that say, "Thank God for dead soldiers." Well, should we be really doing that at a funeral, or should we be doing that at our nation's capital if we don't agree with the war? The Westboro Church decides that every military funeral that they can get to, they are going to stand there and protest. And it's because they have the freedom of speech to do this. So why not? It even went as far as the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court actually decided to agree with them that it was okay to go ahead and protest at a military funeral. Just because if they were to grant a denial of them to protest at a military funeral, then where would it go from there? If we deny freedom of speech at this event, then where's it going to go from there? It's kind of a slippery slope thing, but still, I really don't see the idea that a military funeral is necessarily the right place to protest the war in this country. You have family members and you have children there, and children should not be being exposed to this hateful speech and the indignities of all this kinds of derogatory messages that are given at protests when their parent has just perished in a war that they don't really understand yet. So I just really think that the next time that people really believe that they should go ahead and support these events that are going on because they don't agree with the war, well, that's fine if you don't agree with the war. Just try to keep it away from a emotional and kind of um, religious event such as a funeral, because it's a time of mourning, not a time of, oh, let's try to bash that person even more when their family just lost someone. And we're even having to have people line up and build a silent wall to protect the family from these protesters. Why are we having to do this? Why is it necessary to have to protect the family from protesters when it shouldn't even be happening in the first place? We're human beings, and honestly, if you wouldn't want it to happen at your parents' or family member's funeral, why would you want to do it as someone else's. I think it just comes down to simple human decency, and some people just don't have it. So the next time you think about joining up for a cause that you really believe in, look at the message and look at where you're wanting to support it at, and just try to think of the emotional impact that that location brings, and try to decide if that's really the right place to try to give your message. I just, being a veteran, I just don't see the appropriateness of protesting the war at a soldier's funeral. Thank you.